Councilmember Pierson.
As I said earlier, protecting freedom of speech means the world to me. But I also feel like some of the comments were minimalizing the experience of being a person who has been affected by hate for hundreds of years. I literally sat on a Zoom where the accounts were registered and verified. And someone posted their screen picture, which I showed to some of the staff here, of sweet little kittens, but if you squinted, it said nigger. And for me to see it, it's not just a look, but we have to keep going on with the programming, folks, because it raises something after. So when we left here last time, I said to some of my constituents, I wasn't really affected by the cause. I was sad for everybody else's experience. It wasn't until the day after that I really saw the effect, that I had been a part of a marginalized group where hate was so profound that it became, that I couldn't be affected because I'm so used to hate as a Black person and as a woman. I'm so adopted to hate that I couldn't even feel it in the moment in the room. And all I could do was be a comforter to all the people that I saw affected by it. It took days for me to come out of that. And then to go on a Zoom where someone puts a picture of cats and says nigger, it's a burning cross in my front yard. The comments were a burning cross. The comments were a noose. So I'm not gonna minimalize it that you guys just need to move on. If it happens, we just need to all just move on like it's not happening. But at the same token, because my people were killed fighting for freedom of speech, because there were women during the suffrage movement who wanted to speak, I get both sides. So I want to thank Mr. Antonio for your options that you gave. I think it's a great thing to say for the free speech where you could just talk about whatever you want to talk about, have your ass in the seats here. Sorry for not having a better word. For the agendized items where we actually can, because when you sit on this dais, it sounds so easy. I used to sit there listening from home on Zoom. Zoom was great because the only time I listened was Zoom. I never came in here until I became a council member, right? So when I was at Zoom, it gave me the option to listen to everybody, to formulate my opinions, and it looks like this job is easy, but it's not. We can't just mute someone. Mute is not just the option when they have the freedom of speech, and when our agenda says you can talk about whatever, we can't mute. The hate speech is not protected. You can't just say mute. So it's not that easy. It's just mute them, guys. Just cut them off. Just start being Zoom's police. Contact and refer them to Zoom. Meanwhile, what people who weren't in the seats here didn't see was the visceral reaction that comes with anti-Semitism, that comes with racism, that echoes on. I've had people, neighbors, people in the community call me crying on the phone saying, I just listened to the meeting, because guess what happens with Zoom? It lives on. It will live on. What happened at that meeting will live on to our children and our children's children. It just doesn't die because the day ended. It will never stop. So for me, I have a hard time hearing people say, it's just people talking that it's just haters. It goes beyond just haters for me. It triggers something for me that I didn't even think bothered me the day that it happened. I was more cool as a cucumber. Anybody up here can tell you, I went in the back, I asked for hugs. I wanted to give everybody a hug. But days later, I cried so hard because I thought, oh my God, hate is so, you've been so adapted to being hated. It's so commonplace for you. So my thoughts in this discussion as a council member is, I absolutely agree with your earlier suggestion. I agree with Antonio, thank you so much. I know we're not supposed to talk to you all directly, but I want to say thank you. I think it's a great idea for the public comments at the very beginning, whether we have it at the beginning or the end of the meeting, because at the end of the meeting means we're trying to hide out from the people who can't stay up all night, right? So I think keep the crap at the keep it at the beginning of the meeting. If people want to come here, get your butts in the seats. And then on the agendized items where we actually can hit the mute button, keep it on Zoom. And I think it's a happy meeting, but let me be clear. Zoom is not connected to your free speech right. We do not have to provide Zoom. We have to provide a forum and a space for you to speak, and we do that right here. Zoom was a convenience that came about after COVID. But I think it is so amazing that one, because I'm all about diversity, equity, and inclusion, it provides a space for those people who may be, and I don't think it's just single mothers, disabled, for all kind of people, for commuters, for people who just don't feel like coming here. It provides convenience. So I don't think we cut it all the way off, but I do think we modify it. So my suggestion is to just straight up what you suggested. Thank you. Wasn't thought about, and then you came back and verified, and I'm like, that's it. It makes sense. Give it a try. Let's see what happens. And it may be that we come to a point, I'm still cup half full, not half empty, that one day our world will be where people don't hate. We haven't seen it in hundreds of years, but I'm keeping out hope, folks, that we get to a point where, as Martin Luther King said, all men are created equal. I'm hoping for that day, and we can see the equality in all of us. We can see the joy. So I'm taking up everybody's time. I'm very passionate about this.
Vice Mayor.